At 55, society has a way of making a woman invisible, but to the most dangerous man in Seoul, I became the only target that mattered. He is 32 years old. They call him the Devil, and he remembers me from the time I held his mother's hand at his father's funeral. He just destroyed my entire world to force me to belong to him. I knew him as a child with scraped knees and quiet eyes. Now he is a monster who is ready to burn this whole city to the ground to protect me, and to protect the miracle we made together. Chapter 1. The rain comes down hard on Gangnam the night Solange's life stops making sense. She is standing at her hotel window with her Canon in her hands. Wearing a white maxi dress with a deep side slit, her silver hair soft around her face. She has the kind of posture that women half her age would pay good money to understand. She earned every inch of it. 3 days from now, she was supposed to marry Brandon. The photograph on her phone is ugly and flat, lit by hotel corridor fluorescence. Brandon and a 26-year-old associate. Time-stamped 11:43 p.m., exactly when he told Solange he was on a business call with Chicago. She has not cried yet. What arrived instead of grief is something colder and cleaner, a full-body clarity, like stepping into January air and suddenly being able to see every single detail of the street. She picks up her camera. She goes out into the rain. This is how Solange has always processed what she cannot say out loud. She walks and she frames and she lets the lens find what her eyes refuse to settle on. She turns down a side alley because the light there is interesting. One amber lamp hanging crooked over a loading dock. Shadows falling at the kind of angle that used to appear in her gallery exhibitions. She raises the camera. She adjusts the focus. Through the lens she sees 4 men on their knees. She does not lower the camera. A 5th man stands with his back to her. The stillness in how he holds himself is more frightening than anything the others are doing. Black suit. Shoulders square and perfectly still. Everything around him moves in reaction to him, the way water pulls away from something heavy dropped into its center. Her finger presses the shutter. The camera clicks. It is the smallest sound in the world. The man in the black suit turns. Even through 35 millimeters of glass, even in the rain, Solange knows that face. She knew it when it was 9 years old, interstained at a graveside. She knew it at 14, furious and eating dinner in her Chicago kitchen because his mother, her best friend Yeon-jae, needed someone to take the boy for the weekend while she quietly fell apart. She knew it at 19, leaving for Seoul with a jaw set like poured concrete. Jae-won, 32 years old now, and the boy she knew is completely gone. Their eyes meet through her lens. His are dark and absolutely still. She watches his expression shift in a way that frightens her far more than if he had raised a weapon. It is recognition. It is something older than tonight. It is the face of a man who has just found something he has been looking for without allowing himself to admit it. Solange lowers the camera. She runs. The rain is cold. Her heels are wrong for this, and none of it matters. She moves through back streets until she reaches her hotel elevator and the doors close. She stares at her own reflection in the polished metal. Silver hair. White dress soaked through. A very serious problem. Her phone buzzes. Unknown number. One message. Do not delete those photographs and do not run again. It is unbecoming of you, and I have been patient long enough. I will find you in the morning. The elevator opens on her floor. Her legs do not move for a full 10 seconds. He has been patient. That is what he said. Not angry, not threatening, patient. As if this moment was always coming and he simply waited for it to arrive. As if Solange running through the rain tonight was not an escape but the opening move of a game she did not know she had already agreed to play. She walks to her room. She sits on the edge of the bed. She looks at Brandon's photograph. Then she looks at her camera, at the images she has not yet reviewed, at whatever she captured through that lens in the rain. She knows she should delete them. She knows she will not. If this story already has your heart pounding, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on your notifications so you never miss what comes next. Drop a comment below and tell me, would you run or would you stay? Share this with your girlfriends because, honey, we are just getting started. Chapter 2. Jaewon's men find her at 7 in the morning. Solange is dressed when they knock because she did not sleep, and somewhere around 4 a.m. she made a decision. She is not going to wait for whatever comes next to happen to her. She has spent the last 8 months of her life letting things happen to her. Brandon happened to her. This engagement happened to her. The slow, careful erasure of everything she used to be happened to her while she smiled politely and told herself it was enough. She opens the door before the second knock. There are 2 of them, young, in dark suits, with the particular blankness of men who have been trained not to have visible opinions. They do not touch her. They simply step back and gesture toward the elevator, and Solange walks past them with her camera bag on her shoulder and her chin level, the way Yeonjae always said she carried herself, like a woman who had already decided the room belonged to her. The car takes her to a tower in the center of Gangnam that she has walked past 100 times without knowing what it was. 70th floor. The elevator opens directly into the penthouse, and the city of Seoul spreads out below like something God arranged specifically to be looked at. Jaewon is standing at the window with his back to her, black suit, same as last night. He does not turn around immediately, and she understands that this is deliberate, that he is giving her a moment to take in the space, to feel the weight of it, to understand exactly how far she is from the street. You didn't delete the photographs, he says. You told me not to. Now he turns. Up close, in the morning light, he is even more unsettling than he was through the lens. He has his mother's cheekbones and his father's eyes, and the combination in a 32-year-old face does something to Solange's chest that she absolutely refuses to examine. Sit down, he says. I'll stand. Something moves at the corner of his mouth. Not quite a smile. You always did that. Even when I was 9 years old and had a full meltdown in your kitchen, you stood. You never sat until you were ready. She does not answer that. She will not let him use her memories against her before she even understands what he wants. What he wants, it turns out, is a great deal. He lays it out cleanly, the way a man does when he has rehearsed it, and also when he has the kind of power that means he does not particularly need your agreement, only your presence. The Beak Syndicate photographed in her camera are looking for those images and for the woman who took them. They will find her within 48 hours regardless of where she runs. Brandon, he says it without blinking, is not a businessman. He is laundering money through a series of shell companies, and he chose Solange specifically because her restaurant in Gangnam gave him legitimate cover. The engagement was a transaction. She was the commodity. I can make both problems disappear, Jae-hwan says. The syndicate will not touch you. Brandon will lose everything, his money, his reputation, his freedom, in that order. And you will be safe. And what do you get? Solange says. A wife, on paper. For as long as necessary. She looks at him for a long moment. She thinks about Yeon-jae, about a woman who loved her son so fiercely and understood him so little toward the end. She thinks about what it means that this man, this particular man, has constructed an offer so precisely shaped to what she needs that it feels less like a proposal and more like a door she was always going to walk through. I am not afraid of you, she says. I know, he says, and the weight in those two words is enormous. That is why you are here and not in a big safe house somewhere being asked very unpleasant questions. She moves through the penthouse. He watches her the way the city watches the river, constant, patient, from above. She stops at the bookshelf. Among the architecture books and the financial texts, there is a small wooden box she recognizes. It is Yeon-jae's, the one that sat on her friend's knitstand for 30 years. She left it to you, Solange says. She left you something too, Jae-hwan says. It arrived at your Chicago address 3 weeks after the funeral. You sent it back unopened. Solange's hands go still. It was my father's diary, she says slowly. I thought it was a mistake. It was not a mistake. He crosses the room and opens the box. Inside is a photograph, black and white, creased at the corners. Two men standing in front of a building in Seoul. One of them is Jae-hwan's father. The other is a man Solange has not seen in 20 years, but would know in any light, in any city, in any life. Her father. The photograph is dated 1995. They knew each other, she says. It is not a question. They made an oath, Jae-hwan says. A blood oath. I found the documentation 6 months ago. Our families have been bound since before you and I ever met. The room is very quiet. Seoul moves 30 floors below like it does not know anything extraordinary is happening up here. That is why you came back, Solange says. After the funeral, you came back because of the oath. I came back, Jae-hwan says, because of you. The oath just gave me the language to explain it to myself. Her phone rings. She looks at the screen. It is Brandon. Jae-hwan watches her face. Answer it, he says quietly. And then tell me what you decide. She stares at Brandon's name on the screen and feels something finalize inside her. Clean and irreversible, the way a door locks from the inside. She declines the call. She sets the phone face down on his bookshelf, next to Yeon-jae's box, next to the photograph of their fathers in 1995. Tell me what the oath says, she says. Every word. Chapter 3. The night of the Lot Hotel reception, Solange wears red. Not the careful, diplomatic red of a woman trying to make a point. The deep, unapologetic red of a woman who has already made her decision and is simply allowing the room to catch up. The dress is floor-length, fitted at the waist, and Jae-hwan looks at her for a full 4 seconds when she walks out of the bedroom before he remembers to look away. She files that away without comment. Brandon is already there when they arrive. She spots him across the ballroom, laughing with a cluster of investors, working the room the way he always does, all easy charm and expensive teeth, and the particular confidence of a man who believes he has never truly been seen. He has not noticed her yet. That is fine. She is patient. She learned patience from a woman who raised a monster and loved him anyway, and patience, it turns out, is its own kind of weapon. Jae-hwan stays 2 steps behind her all evening, close enough that every person in that room understands the arrangement, far enough that she is clearly the one moving under her own power. It is a precise choreography, and she did not ask him to do it. He simply understood. Her moment comes at 11 p.m. The moderator opens the floor for remarks, and Solange walks to the front of the room before anyone else moves. She has the photographs on her phone, the ones Brandon's own associate sent her the night before the rain, and 3 additional documents that Jae-won's people pulled from Brandon's financial records in 48 hours. She does not raise her voice. She does not perform outrage. She simply presents the facts in the clear, unhurried tone of a woman who has nothing left to lose and has discovered that this condition is enormously freeing. By the time she finishes, Brandon's face has gone the color of old concrete. He tries to speak. One of his investors puts a hand on his arm and pulls him back, and that small gesture, that withdrawal of support in public, is the sound of his world beginning to come apart at the seams. Solange steps down from the podium, and Jae-won is right there, his hand at the small of her back, warm through the red fabric, and she feels something she has not felt in longer than she can honestly remember. Safe. She feels safe. That is the moment the window breaks. The sound comes before she understands what it is. A sharp crack from the far side of the ballroom, and then the room collapses into chaos, screaming, tables overturning. The particular animal panic of a crowd that does not know which direction the danger is coming from. Solange's first instinct is to find Jae-won, and she turns and she sees him standing completely still in the middle of the moving crowd, his eyes tracking the room the way a man does when he has done this before. Behind him, through the broken window, she can see the angle. She can see exactly where the next shot is coming from. She does not think, she moves. She crosses the distance between them in 3 steps and puts herself directly in front of him, both hands flat against his chest, her back to the window. She feels him go absolutely rigid under her palms. "Solange," he says, and his voice is a sound she has never heard from him, raw, stripped of everything. "Get down," she says. His security reaches them in the next second. They go down together behind an overturned table, his body covering hers now, his arms around her in a way that has nothing to do with protocol and everything to do with something much older and more honest than any agreement they signed. She can hear his heart. It is not steady. The devil of Seoul, the man who stood perfectly still while 4 men knelt before him in the rain, is not steady right now because of her. The shooting stops. It lasts less than 90 seconds total. 2 of the Beak Syndicate's men are taken down by Jae-hwan's security before they reach the floor. The room is ruined. Brandon is gone, slipped out in the panic like the particular kind of coward who always knows where the exits are. Jae-won pulls back just far enough to look at her face. He is checking for damage, running his hands along her arms, her shoulders, her jaw, with a thoroughness that would be clinical if his hands were not shaking. "I told you," she says, "that I am not afraid of you. I know what you told me." His voice is rough. "What I want to know is why. Why would you stand in front of a bullet for me?" She looks at him for a long moment. At this face she has known across 30 years and 2 lifetimes. At the boy who ate cereal in her kitchen, and the man who built an empire in the dark, and the person somewhere between those 2 things who has been holding himself together with both hands for longer than anyone should have to. Because Yeon-jae loved you, she says. And because I think I understand why. Something breaks open behind his eyes. I never learned how to want something for myself, he says quietly. Not until you walked back into my life. She does not answer. She puts her hand against his face, the way she once held his mother's hand, and she lets that be enough for now. Her phone buzzes in her bag. She ignores it. It buzzes again and again. And then Jaehwan's phone lights up on the floor beside them, and she sees the name on the screen, and her blood goes cold. The name is not Brandon. The name is her father's. Her father has been dead for 11 years. Chapter 4. The number calling from her dead father's phone belongs to a woman named Clara. Solange finds this out 20 minutes later in the back of Jaehwan's car, while his security team sweeps the hotel and his fixer handles what is left of Brandon's reputation, with the quiet efficiency of people who have done this many times before. Clara is her father's former assistant. She has been sitting on a phone and a box of documents for 11 years, waiting for a specific date that her father told her would come, a date tied to a promise he made in Seoul in 1995. That date was yesterday. He knew, Solange says. Both of them knew, Jaehwan says. He is looking out the window. His jaw is set. My father's oath documents mention a contingency. If either family was ever in danger, the other would be called in. Your father set this in motion before he died. He knew what my father's world looked like. He knew what mine would become. Solange is quiet for a long time. She thinks about her father, a careful man, a man of deliberate silences and long plans. She thinks about the diary she sent back unopened because grief made her stupid and afraid. She thinks about 11 years of distance she could have closed if she had simply been willing to look. Clara has the rest of the diary, Solange says. I know. My people are bringing her in tonight. She looks at him then, at this man who runs an empire and shook in a hotel ballroom because she stepped in front of a window. How long have you been managing this? She says. How long have you known about the contingency? 6 months, he says. Since I found the oath documents, and Brandon, a pause. Brandon was already a problem before I identified him. But yes, I accelerated his unraveling once I understood the situation. She should be angry. She knows the shape of that anger, can feel it waiting for her like a coat on a hook. But underneath, it is something more complicated and more honest. The recognition that this man has been building a wall around her for 6 months without her knowledge. That his obsession and his protection are the same thing. That the monster and the boy from her kitchen are not as separate as she once needed them to be. I need to see Clara, Solange says. Tonight. Before anything else. Already arranged, of course it is. Clara turns out to be a 70-year-old Korean-American woman with sharp eyes and a canvas bag full of documents that she has kept in a fireproof safe since 2014. The diary is there. 30 years of her father's handwriting. His careful English, mixed with phrases in Korean that he learned specifically because of his friendship with Jaehwan's father. Solange sits at Jaehwan's kitchen table and reads for 2 hours while he stands at the window and does not rush her. The oath is exactly what Jaehwan described. But there is a final page she was not prepared for. Her father wrote it 2 weeks before he died. His handwriting is looser there, less controlled, the pen pressing harder than usual. I have known since Seoul that these 2 lives would cross again. I have known since I watched Park Seung-jin's son look at my daughter across a funeral that something was already decided. I did not arrange this. I only witnessed it and wrote it down. Whatever comes of it is theirs. I only ask that she knows I was not afraid, and that I believed she was strong enough for whatever the world put in front of her. She always was. Solange closes the diary. She does not cry. She does something quieter and more private than crying. She sits with it for a moment, with the image of her father watching a 21-year-old Jaewon look at his daughter across a Seoul apartment and writing it down in a diary he sealed for 11 years. The patience of that. The love in that particular kind of patience. He saw it before either of us did, she says. Jaewon does not answer right away. When he does, his voice is careful. He saw it before I was willing to admit it. I was aware of it at 19. I was aware of it every time I saw you after that. I simply did not have a language for wanting something I had no right to want. She stands. She crosses the room. She stops in front of him and she looks at his face and the city light coming through the floor-to-ceiling glass. This face she has known across 3 decades, and she makes the only decision that has ever actually been hers to make. You have the right now, she says. If you want it. He looks at her for a long moment. Then he reaches out and tucks a strand of silver hair behind her ear with a gentleness that does not belong to the devil of Seoul at all. It belongs to someone she is only beginning to know. I want it, he says. Now, beloved, before the cliffhanger hits, if this story has been living in your chest the way it has been living in mine, please like this video right now and leave a comment below telling me what you think Solange's father really knew. Share this with every woman in your life who deserves a story built around her. We are not invisible. We are not done. And this story is proof. Solange stands on the rooftop of the penthouse, one hand resting lightly against her middle, feeling the new heartbeat she carries beneath her own. The city of Seoul burns bright below them. Jaewon picks up her camera to make the first photograph of their new reality, and she turns toward him, and she is glowing, and for one perfect moment, everything is simple. Then his face goes white. He is scrolling through old images in the camera. His hands have stopped moving. He turns the screen toward her slowly, and she sees it. A hidden folder she never showed him. Photographs from 1995 that she forgot were even there. The last image shows his father 1 minute before his death. And the man holding the gun is wearing a watch on his wrist, hand engraved with interlocking cranes, a watch that exists only once in the world. A watch that Solange keeps in her father's jewelry box in the bedroom closet. Jaewon raises his eyes to her face. In them, adoration is fighting something that looks like bloodlust and losing ground fast. In that exact moment, Solange's phone lights up with a message. She reads it. She does not show him the screen. She does not have to. He can already see everything he needs to know in the way her face goes still and her hand closes around the phone and does not let go. If you need to scream right now, honey, the comment section is right there, and I need every single thought you have. Like this video, share it with your girlfriends on Facebook, on Instagram, everywhere, because this story is not finished. Not even close. And neither are we.